This is our response video to the exchange rate and currency video, and it is by Pepper and I. So I think, first of all, you guys did a really good job of defining all of the key terms that are used in this chapter and in this part of economics. But I think that it's important to note and explicitly say that the currency appreciation is due to supply and demand, while the depreciation is due also to supply and demand. You kind of noted that, but it's very important to say that both of these are at a floating exchange rate, so they're due to supply and demand. And also you showed it on a graph a little bit, but just to show the two different ways a currency can appreciate. In this case, we have a graph of the Australian dollar, and it's the exchange rate and the quantity. So in figure 2a, we can see that the demand is shifting to the right, which is appreciating the currency. So the quantity is greater and the price is greater. And then in figure 2b, we can see that supply is shifting to the left, which also appreciates the currency. And we can see this because now Q1 is at a lower price than Q. So, and this is Australian dollar, so it's applicable to other currencies as well, but this is just an example. Now depreciation, also you guys did a good job of showing it, but just to make it super clear, the price of, this is actually in the Chinese currency in the yuan, so it's a little bit more applicable. The price of yuan in terms of USD and the quantity of yuan in the first figure on the left, and it shows a decreased demand, so demand shifts to the left, and that makes the price lower for the quantity to be lower as well, so that would depreciate the currency and decrease demand. Now in the right graph, we have the supply shifting to the right. That would also depreciate the currency because the supply is increasing, so there's more yuan out there in the world, so they're less valuable. Well, and in the left-hand graph, the demand is lower. So another thing are causes. So it's really easy to go through this and say oh yeah, this happens because of the decreased demand, increased supply, and the same in this one. But why does this happen? What are some causes? And I think it's important to go into that. So what causes appreciation of currency? Buying domestic currency, higher economic growth, surplus on the current account, future expectations of the buyers, increased competitiveness of other countries' goods, lower inflation, increase in interest rates. So those are all things that could appreciate the currency. Now things that cause the depreciation of currency could be a fall in the world price of a country's major export. So a decline, and therefore the parentheses is therefore a decline in export revenues and a fall in overseas demand for the currency. So that would depreciate it. A surge in volume and value of imported goods and services. So if there's a lot more imported goods and services, there'll be a trade deficit, and that'll result in a depreciation of the currency. Also, intervention from central bank. So the central bank could reduce the monetary policy interest rates, and that would depreciate the currency. And demand for the currency could fall if the currency traders or speculators expect the exchange rate. So if they expect what's coming, then it could cause the demand to fall, and that would also, as we saw in this graph, the demand shifts to the left, the demand falls, there's a decrease, and that would cause depreciation. Okay, so you guys went into Chinese policies, which I thought was super cool, so I'm going to go into some Swiss policies. So what are Swiss policies on exchange rates and currencies, and what Swiss policy, and how do they deal with appreciation and depreciation? Okay, so this is a Swiss franc. It's super colorful. We have 10 franc notes, 20 franc notes, 50 franc notes, 100 franc notes, 200 franc notes, and 1,000 franc notes. We also have a lot of coins. So I did not know this, but the currency, the Swiss franc, was fixed against the euro until 2015, and when it became a floating exchange rate, the value of the franc soared against the euro. So in this case, the euro was limiting the franc when it was fixed against it, and the franc becoming independent and floating actually helped it a lot. Okay, So basically, this is a cool little graphic. The Frig did this. It just sped up. It increased exponentially. And thank you. That is all.